All right, everyone. Welcome to the next episode of the Proptech Genius Show. And today's genius is George Burchlaw. Hey, George.
Hey, Amy, how are you?
I am good. This is what, try three, try four. I don't
A
know. A
couple of times. It has been a
couple
couple
of
of times.
times. It
I
has.
think one time you were potentially hungover. Is that right?
Oh, I
You were
was.
in Las Vegas.
I was. Yes, I was totally hungover from my CSC. And we had our happy
Yes.
hour. Yeah, so that wasn't a legitimate excuse. And then I think my dad showed up. And I
I
was like,
think your dad did show up.
dad
So
showed up. Yeah.
glad you didn't do it while you were hungover. So looking forward to a great conversation.
It might have been a more fun conversation if I was hungover. I'd be
Well,
like,
all
you know,
depends.
you never know. I mean, it could have been like truth serum time. You could have asked, but I interviewed you, so I guess it wouldn't have mattered. But yeah, y'all haven't seen y'all haven't seen Fun Amy yet. Like, so apparently that's my
Well,
nickname. When I get a couple drinks in me, I turn into fun, feisty Amy.
I
Apparently.
can't wait to see it. So
Exactly. We'll have to go to a conference together, one of the places where I'm
let,
hosting a happy hour, right?
let's do it. Let's
Let's
do
do
it.
it. For sure, for sure. All right, well, awesome. So, for people who haven't watched our episodes, this is how we roll, man. This is what this Prop Tech Genius show is all about. It's just a conversation, and I do not edit. So this is all going to get into the show. I press start, I press stop, and then I push it. So this is how these roll. But no, George, you got such a cool technology, and it's really cool that we get to have you on the show. So let's go through and let everybody introduce you. Wait, let you introduce yourself to everybody, and then we'll kind of get into it. So
Perfect.
take it away, sir.
And one, thank you so much for having me on, Amy. I really appreciate it. And for all the things you're doing for the US Prop Tech Council. It is, I mean, what a tremendous resource it is for startup founders. I mean, all of the things you're setting up, kind of the classes in July and the health insurance stuff. I mean, and putting everybody's product page on the website. Again, really appreciate all of that. And it means a lot to us founders out here.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. All right. So, what is your cool tech? Well, before we get to your tech, let's get to your story. Where'd you come from? What'd you do? How did you get into trying to save the world through prop tech?
I'm originally an architectural engineer, and I went to school at Penn State.
Oh boy. Oh, you're a Big Ten grad? I didn't
I
know
am a
that.
Big Ten grad.
I'm a Boilermaker man. Now it really
I
does.
know. Well, we were 11th, so basically we were Big Ten, and you added us, so we were 11th. I'm not
And
sure.
we did.
I think there's like
So you're like
18 schools.
so you're like the stepchild. You're the
We are
original
like the
stepchild.
stepchild, but we're like the first stepchild because I think there's like 7 other schools
Oh
around
yeah.
us.
It's crazy town. It should be the Big 20.
And I think we're getting close to the Big
Yeah,
20.
yeah,
But
exactly.
background in kind of structural engineering, but knew I didn't want to be an engineer. So I graduated in '93, and the job market in the Northeast was absolutely horrible. So I got a job offer in Houston. So
Oh,
I moved to Houston in '94, which is
yeah.
only 30 short years ago.
Yeah, I
And
know.
so,
I
and
know.
so I've been in Texas since 1994, did some engineering work, kind of construction material testing and stuff like that. And every meeting I went to, you'd always see that real estate guy at the head of the table. He was the guy calling the shots. He was the
Hmm.
guy leaving in the fancy car. He was the guy that, had everything going on. And I was kind of like the engineer at on the side of the table, way in the back. And I realized, boy, would it be great to be that guy. Never ended
Oh,
up being that guy,
yeah.
but basically, like, ideally be that guy. So I
Yeah.
went to Austin in '98, right in the tech like crazy bubble.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was a party in Austin
It
then.
was
It was a party. I'm telling you.
the
I
VC
got
money
here
was
in
flowing.
99. Yeah.
Exactly. So I moved to Austin in '98, went to grad school at UT, and we caught the I guess the internet craze, and then we kind of caught the dot-com kind of bust because it happened right there
Yeah.
when I was my last semester. So a lot of guys that were going into technology, I'm gonna work at a startup. Then kind of 2000 was a little dicey, and they unfortunately had some offers. But the interesting thing about me is basically everyone wanted to get into tech. I loved real estate. So
Mm.
basically, my background is buildings and construction. So I was like, I love real estate. I want to get into real estate. So I was fortunate enough to take a job at a private equity company in Dallas. jumping face first into real estate acquisitions, real estate asset management,
Yeah.
and tremendous opportunity. And that's where kind of I got the sense of how much data there is involved in real estate and the opportunities because maybe some real estate companies aren't as organized as they could be.
Ah, that's like 99% of them, right?
It's a good percentage of them. So I came out of business school, UT, cutting edge technology, all these companies I'm going to go to work for, going to be super efficient. They're going to push a button and have all these analytics. And I went to I went to a relatively sophisticated company, and
Mhm.
after like 6 months, I was like, nobody knows what's going on. Nobody has a clue what is going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was mind-boggling to me. And we
Mhm.
had 50 or 60 assets in the portfolio, and it's like, who could possibly understand what's going on with 50 or 60 assets, all these individual investments scattered all over the country, and that's how they operated.
Yeah.
And so I was the new guy, freshly minted MBA who, knew all the tech tools. And so it was like, I'll do it your way, and we'll kind of struggle through trying to understand the portfolio. And then we had a couple deals go sideways.
Ah.
So it was kind of like, boy, what happened to this deal? I thought the projections were everything was going to be great. And
Mhm.
it was kind of like, well, the information was buried in accounting software. How does this compare to our pro forma? Where's our underwriting? I had no idea where that model's at. And
Mhm.
basically, we had a couple deals go not the best. And it was like, why didn't we know this?
Yeah. Was it like 06, 07 kind of time frame
Oh
or?
no, this was 2001. This was kind of 9/11.
Oh, right after that. Oh,
This
yeah,
was
yeah,
9/11-ish.
yeah,
And it
yeah,
was, why didn't we know this? And
yeah.
asset managers, were saying that things are great, the property's doing great, but their projections are over here. The accounting software with that information is over here. Who's
Yeah,
really understanding all that?
yeah,
So I got my first taste of that. Long story short, I developed a platform for those guys, kind of relatively rudimentary, that kind of said, let's understand each and every deal, and implemented it. We probably re-underwrote the entire portfolio again because there was such a disconnect between maybe some optimistic projections and some realistic actuals.
oh yeah, yeah. We love those cap rate assumptions.
Well,
Those are,
well, those acquisitions guys, they have some. I mean, they're
oh
dynamite.
yeah,
They
yeah.
are the best, and they make deals work on the front end. And then it's that finger pointing, boy, if you
Oh yeah,
just executed the way I underwrote it, things would be great. And then the asset
yeah.
manager would say, geez, we overpaid for this asset. There's no way we're going to be able to make these returns.
Yeah. Those are fun. Those are fun conversations to have with
And,
your.
and so I think the only way to settle that is, let's look at the data, let's see what happened. And so after that, I was at Forest City. So we did some pretty large scale. I was on the development team,
Okay.
some large scale developments in Dallas, kind of. If you're from downtown Dallas, we did some adaptive reuse. So we were converting office buildings to apartments, the first wave, like 2005, 2006, right before the financial crisis.
You did. Y'all did
We,
that. That sounds like brain damage. Like,
oh no, it's complete brain damage. And
oh
so
yeah.
it, we, if you're familiar with downtown, we bought a complex that was over 1 million square feet.
Mm-hmm.
We tore down 700,000 square feet that had
Oh,
asbestos in it, right in the middle of downtown. If
oh,
you're familiar with downtown,
yeah.
we saved the bank tower, which was the iconic bank tower of downtown Dallas.
Okay.
We converted that tower 31 stories to apartments. And then
Wow.
where we tore down those 700,000 square feet of building, we built back a 15-story multifamily building.
Yeah, that's brain damage. Did
It
y'all
was,
assist, did you leave the structural steel or were you just like blowing it up, like
oh
demolishing
no,
it?
we had to take it down floor by floor. So basically,
Oh,
these were buildings that were
oh, shut
probably,
me in. Oh, Lord, have
it took
mercy.
yeah, it took a year to do the abatement and the demolition.
Oh my God. Who thought that was a great idea? Like, well, I want to see that pro forma, by the
No,
way.
oh, no,
Oh,
that pro forma, that pro forma
they
is
didn't
not
miss.
available. That pro forma is not available to be seen.
Because they
Um,
totally missed that one. Like they,
well, this was crazy because when the city wanted this done because it was in the middle of
oh,
downtown Dallas.
okay.
So the city wanted this done, so they created a TIF district for this particular project.
Yeah,
Because if they didn't develop this, downtown would never evolve. So this is kind
right.
of sitting in the middle of downtown.
Yeah,
So they
but TIF
create.
ain't gonna save you from that. Like
What's that?
the TIF is not gonna save you from
Well,
that. I mean, like the taxes is great. Like that's fabulous, but still, like,
well, here's what they're doing. So they combined Uptown Dallas with Downtown Dallas. They called it the
uh,
Downtown Connection TIF. So the Uptown portion of these buildings, tremendous increment. So it was throwing off quite a bit of cash flow. So they bonded that, and then they gave us those bonded proceeds. So we got awarded $58 million. As we were spending it, we were getting reimbursed. We probably
yeah,
needed about 90 million. So
yeah,
basically, 58 million sounded good at the beginning. It ended up being, we
yeah,
had some cost overruns. Let's just say things were a little bit more expensive than we thought.
yeah.
And then we
Oh
opened,
my Lord.
I don't know, March '09. So it was a
Wow.
little bit of a dicey time.
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
tons of development experience, which was a lot of fun. We did some uh, another high rise in Uptown, which was great. And
Mm-hmm.
then I spent 3.5 years trying to get a mall redevelopment project in North Dallas off the ground. Again, a lot of city subsidy, a lot of brain
Yeah.
damage,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
but
Exactly.
each company I was with, same challenge. We have these great underwriting models, but how do you really, compare and execute against these underwriting models? So in 2020, I went back to that company where I developed the platform. I said, I'd love to have that technology and see if I could update it, kind of clean it up a little bit and kind of market to small to mid-sized companies because I still think they struggle. And so that's where our analytics was born.
Ah, very cool. So they gave it to you, huh? They gave, wow, they're so stupid. Oh my God, they're so stupid.
Well, I mean, it wasn't market ready. When
Oh, it wasn't market ready, but they gave you about 90% of what you needed.
well, it gave it the concept, the infrastructure.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, I mean, good for you. You convinced them to give it to you. Well,
Yes.
real estate people tend to be dumb about tech. I mean, like just
Well, it's just they'd used it for like 10 years, but then there was no guy there to quarterback it, and so basically then they kind of
so
got
they
off,
stopped using it, right?
and it
Yeah.
was kind of so it was just sitting there. So they were fortunate enough to gracious enough to offer it back to me. So
That's awesome. Well, you built it anyway, so but
yeah.
I get it, but that's fine. That's good. Well, that was nice of them. That's awesome. Very cool. So now what are you doing? What are you doing with it now? So you basically help real estate companies because they don't know what they're doing and you're their outsourced resource. Is what you're doing, right?
Well, we see still a lot of companies struggle with, again, kind of, acquiring a bunch of properties, putting it in the portfolio, and then again, that critical information is buried in accounting software and property management software. And how do you really put that in a format that a CFO wants to see? And so
Right.
we still see that as a kind of a fundamental challenge. So we are a tech-enabled service. So we think kind of giving real estate companies this, super complicated kind of platform and then have them to manage it internally, especially for these smaller companies, one, they don't have the people to do that. So basically the idea was let us be a tech-enabled service. So we would kind of handle their technology and kind of do the back office number crunching.
Yeah, I will say, I mean, obviously you recognize there's a skill gap on the real estate company side, right? They're not, if they were investment banking, you wouldn't have this issue, right? You could just
Right.
give them the software and it'd be great. But
Exactly.
they don't have the skill set in house to kind of understand how do we use the data analytics, data science teams, how we pull all this stuff together. And then, from a finance standpoint, from an asset management standpoint, what you need to look at, what levers you need to pull and all those. I mean, I had to learn all that the hard way going through my, days. And but yeah, but there's a lot of real estate companies that I swear they're all shooting from the hip and they like do not know what they're doing. And so then they're like shocked one day when a asset's not performing. Like, what? We don't have money in the bank? Oh, wait, we can't pay our
Well,
mortgage? What? Wait, we can't do distributions? Are you kidding
Right.
me? We like, yeah. And so definitely an interesting thing. So a lot of real estate companies are having to grow up. So glad you're here to help them grow up. This is awesome.
It's just it's the people and the technology, and maybe real estate's been such a great investment for a long time, and they're covering their debt service, and they can make a distribution, but don't worry, they're going to sell it for a 4.5 cap on the back end, and everybody's going to,
Yeah.
get that the IRR that they were promised at the beginning. But as you know now, the world has changed pretty substantially.
Yes.
So
Yeah. And the good news is for a Proptech, and no one believes that this is good news, but I do. We're going to be in this quagmire for years. We are. We're not, they're not going to raise rates this year. They've already kind of hinted that they're not going to lower the rates, right? And they're going to raise them, they're going to lower them, but we're going to be stuck in this grossness for probably a year or two. And it's going to force the real estate operators to grow up. Like, just like take a look at your operation. Why aren't you optimized? Why aren't you, so it's super cool. So for platforms like mine and platforms like yours, we're hitting we're here at the right time, man. It's so awesome.
I think so. It's time to focus maybe on operations. So you just can't rely on selling at that low cap rate. So are they really kind of understanding the metrics in each and every
Yeah.
deal? How does it compare? What do we, how are
Yep.
we doing to our underwriting? Is our underwriting kind of
Mhm.
in line with the market? Maybe it is, or maybe we're still using assumptions from 2, 3, 4 years ago.
Yep.
I think there's a lot of opportunity to help real estate companies.
I had to like, yeah, for sure. Because there's a guy, and I'm not going to mention his name, but he likes to, if I say this, everyone's going to know who he is, but he's from New York, but he likes to invest in Texas. That's all I'm going to say. But anyway, he posted out on LinkedIn about how his underwriting model is super awesome. And oh, by the way, you should buy it. And then he is on his underwritings now. The best method is on exit to lower the cap rate by 100 basis points. And I'm like going, whoa, slow down, buddy. Like, no one has a crystal ball. You cannot sit there and inflate your underwriting because you're lowering the cap rate
I
on
guarantee
exit.
you, if you lower the cap rates, the deals will work. I guarantee you, if
Oh
you
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
That's,
yeah,
that's I got that covered. That
yeah.
is, you don't have to be a prop tech genius to realize all you
Yeah.
got to do is you sell it for like 3.5 cap, everything is going to work out.
Oh yeah, I know, I know. Like the biggest levers in underwriting are obviously cap rate at exit, cap rate at the beginning. So that really determines when I knew all made the underwriting move, right? I mean, I had to, because I would actually stress test my
Oh
underwriting.
yeah,
I would stress test and go through 5 or 6, like, hey, what if we didn't get the rent pro forma as we were thinking about? So, and this is what everybody does. So what really on your underwriting is your year one NOI, like how you project your year one pro forma, basically determines the rest of the form, because all you do is you do a 3%,
it's
accelerator on top of it, right? So if you inflate year one, all you do is inflating upon inflating upon inflating upon inflating.
that
Year one
makes the model
was
work. That
nowhere
makes the
close
model
to me.
work.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. But yeah, no, sorry, someone's getting in the car. Hey, by the way, I'm shooting this from my car. FYI.
Oh,
There you go. I'm like, this is how I roll. I'm just awesome like that. Anyway, but yeah, and so people, if you don't understand how, but people rely on those Excel spreadsheets. That's the worst thing too, is like you'll get a cell. I would be like looking at stuff and going, that doesn't make sense. Is
right,
someone jacked with the cell in in the sheet?
right.
And you're kind of looking at it and you're going, okay, wait, time out. Let me go fix this, right? And they do, they get all messed up. But sometimes if you're not paying attention to those stupid things, you
Yes.
can tell, oh yeah, we're gonna have a 20% return on whatever. And I'm just like, and I've had so many people send me their underwriting, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, what, y'all are full of crap. Like, it's just like, did you really look at this? Did you look at your rent comps? Did you really look at this stuff to understand what you're really saying? Because this is a bunch of, baloney. So anyway, but yeah.
I mean, it's very common, especially maybe if you're new to the industry and you kind of just are kind of maybe just looking at it as, playing with numbers in a spreadsheet. I mean, it's quite possible to make the model work, but I'm not sure if it's economically sound, let's just say.
Yeah, no, 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 for sure, right? And then investors invest in it, and then you feel bad because these knuckleheads who don't know what they're doing got investors to invest in something, and they're just going to lose their money. I was never nice when I didn't, when I was like really telling people like, what are you doing? And you raise money on this BS? Like, I
Right.
anyway. So let's explain. So somebody, you get involved at underwriting stage, or do you get involved later? Like, when do you get involved?
We do not get involved in the underwriting stage, although we
Okay.
have all the underwriting models in our platform for the existing
Okay.
deals.
Okay.
So they can review all of the underwritings and compare it to how the deals are actually performing, but we do not do any underwriting. We take it from the day they close till the day they sell
Oh, okay. All right, that's fair. And then you're providing them. So I'm assuming like you're not, are you writing their investor reports? No, you're just providing them data that they turn around and cut and paste and put in their investor reports, right? Or are you?
I would imagine. So basically, it's kind of, there's financial data and then there's property data.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
basically, I mean, we think both are important. A lot of people kind of get, I guess hung up on how critical the financial model and the numbers are, which is important. But there's a whole bunch of risk hiding in all those PDF documents in terms of loan covenants, interest rates, guarantor information on the loans, real estate taxes, property insurance,
Yeah.
metrics. So basically, I mean, we think both are critical to really understand the asset. So we go through all the documents that they've gathered during underwriting. We abstract them, put all the key data in our platform, and also track the financial metrics. So we're looking at kind of risk on risk in the documents and risk in the financial models.
So are you looking at the loan documents that nobody reads? Is that what
Yeah.
you're doing? Are you?
Well, we're looking at them and we're abstracting all those key points that
Yeah,
should
right.
be,
And nobody reads. Nobody reads. They just
I'm,
get in the deal like, oh, thank God we closed. And they don't realize what they just signed themselves up for. That's it. So, okay, that's good.
that
That's
potentially, yes, that is what kind of loan covenants, debt service covenants,
yeah,
loan to
yeah,
value covenants,
yeah.
prepayment penalties. I don't think anybody's prepaying debt anytime soon.
No, no, but yeah, but
Guarantors.
debt service covenants, those are huge, right? I mean, like cap rate, like if you have a cap on your thing and what you have to do there as far as reserve amounts and all that other stuff. I mean, yeah, like, doing all that kind of stuff is interesting for sure. Yeah, nobody reads that crap. And then they
Nobody
just
reads that stuff, and all the power that the lender has
oh yeah.
once you have a non-monetary default, and kind of maybe those interest reserves could get a little
Yep.
higher. What does
Mm-hmm.
that do to the cash flow? So what
Yep.
does that really do to the financial model? It's
Yeah.
pretty significant.
Oh, for sure. For sure. And the surprise bills you always get. Your lender's like, hey, you owe us, 50 grand more this month. What? What are you talking about, Willis? Oh yeah,
Right.
yeah, you have to do this. And then you're scrambling because you don't have a 50 grand.
That it's
You know?
amazing what the power the lender has when you just violate one of those covenants. Then
Yep.
if they're on top of it, is they're on their own right to kind of commit and
Yeah.
protect their loan investment.
Interesting. And that's super cool. That's super cool. So when did you launch your company? When did you start?
Well, we kind of started and got the idea that it was going to be, something we wanted to pursue in 2020, and then basically spent some time looking at opportunity and then really kind of talking to a ton of people, kind of getting feedback and what people are kind of wanting. So I don't know if we officially launched in 22-ish, but it was
Okay.
kind of a process to constantly talking to people, constantly getting feedback, and constantly kind of honing and refining the
Yeah.
platform,
Yeah. No,
which I
no.
think is what every prop tech
Yeah,
founder
everybody
does.
goes through, right? Yeah. I mean, we thought we were going to be maintenance, and we're not maintenance anymore. We're, data. We're data. So yeah, no, I get you. You pivot, you figure it out, you really find your lane. I call it finding your lane, and you find your lane, and then you're like, oh, we found it. Hallelujah.
Well, it's just so interesting. There's so many, opportunities in real estate to add value, track
Oh
data,
yeah.
and so where's your umbrella end? Is it gonna, you have an umbrella like this, you have an umbrella like this, and kind of where to draw the line with the scope to really provide is a service that's efficient, makes
Hmm.
sense, cost effective, helps the owner, but not too big or not too small.
Yeah, good luck with that one. Okay, let's figure that one out. No, I know, I get you. No, I mean it's but you're right. There's so many areas that one company can serve the real estate industry because it's going through this huge upheaval at the moment that, there's new solutions that can be built, new things that can be done. So,
Right.
and I'm with you. I'm with you. So you can obviously add value. And, for the real estate companies, there's a lot of real estate companies that still have a good sized portfolios. They can afford to work with and spend a little money on their operations, right? So it's always a good thing for sure. It's always a good thing. But I would venture to guess, I mean, over time, especially with your platform, that it becomes just a part of their asset management fees or part of the fees that they charge the investors is that's how they pay for you, right? They'll just like, hey, we're gonna have to charge 3% instead of 2.5 or whatever, for whatever it might be, so that because we're using and we're being more enabled with technology, yes, investor, you're going to pay a little bit less, but who cares, right? I mean, it just is what it is.
It's kind of paying for knowledge, and it's nice that companies get asset management fees so they can kind of really understand their revenue, that the asset manager generates, and then how that gets, split up or divided as efficiently as possible for the investor to maximize the return.
Yeah, for sure. So what do you think's happening next for you in your company, and where are you going or what you doing? Think.
We think strategic partnerships are the way to go. So we think there's two ways, I guess. You can connect with the end user and connect with the guy who owns the portfolio, or you could connect with strategic partners. U.S. Proptech Council has been great making all those connections. But is it, property management companies? How can we add value to their service? Is it accounting firms?
Mm-hmm.
Is it other real estate service providers who already have those relationships? How can we strengthen their relationship with their client and
Right.
provide some additional services? Because we think there's real estate companies out there struggling right now
For
to
sure.
find people.
Yeah. I mean, so there's good and bad, right? I mean, you're gonna get in there and you're gonna get it. It's like hiring a CPA. Like they gotta air out their dirty laundry. Basically you're gonna basically come in and go, God, y'all are effed up. You know?
Well, it's with data, so we're not
I know, but it's
with
still, I mean, you have to manage the emotion when you're coming into a company and going, God dang, y'all. Like, but it's the same, it's the same. You're basically optimizing their asset management is basically what you're doing. And so there's always that conversation with the company where they thought where they were the bee's knees and they weren't, it's like,
Well, with the data. So it's all about the
yeah,
data. And
I
so
know.
here's your accounting information. We took it, we
Yeah.
put it in this format. You can
Hmm.
spend some time reconciling it, but I think we got it right. And so, what does that really mean? And given where the market is now, maybe let's look at that exit assumption,
Yeah.
adjust it,
Yeah.
uh, mark
Yeah.
to market. I guess we're mark to marketing their cap rate, and seeing how it plays out.
Yeah. It's those are fun conversations. Hey. No, but it's a hard conversation, but they have to have it. Like, wouldn't you rather know now than later when you're getting your butt handed to you? No, you'd rather know now, right? I'll take a black eye versus my butt getting handed to me.
Well, we think, if they're like debt covenants, say, do you want to hear it from us that, boy, you might be breaking your debt service coverage ratio covenant, in the
Yes.
next couple months, or have the lender call you with
Yeah.
that and kind of all the rights that they would have. So ideally,
Yeah.
if we could get them to be proactive instead of
Right.
reactive, then I think
Right.
that's hopefully a win for everybody.
Yeah. There's no more flying under the radar. That was my MO for a while. I would just fly under the radar. Right. You're just hoping they're not going to look. You send them, you over give them information, thinking that, Arbor is just, they're not going to look at it. They're too busy. It'll be fine. Oh no, they look.
They
They
do
do.
look, the lenders
They
do
look.
sometimes.
They
Yeah,
look.
they're paying
And they're,
attention.
and they pay attention and they call you immediately
Oh,
as
they
you.
do. They
Oh
call
yeah.
you.
Yeah, Yeah, they'll call you and go,
Ask
"Hey,
questions and
this,
stuff.
oh yeah," they're like, "This P&L sucks, man. What's going on?" And so yeah, it's special.
Yeah.
It's really special. So there is no flying under the radar. I mean, I find it, especially well when times were good, the lenders weren't calling you, right?
Right.
But now that where you're at, they're really scrutinizing all of their loans. I mean, I think they're being forced to, if especially if it's Fannie or Freddie loan, they're getting those requirements are very different. But a lot of people have bridge debt, and a lot of those are coming due. So everybody's
Yes.
having a real hard conversation. So it'll be an interesting time. But yeah, no, I totally think your service is really cool, and people are gonna need it. So as are you now you're national? Are you working with clients nationally? Or are you just Dallas kind of based?
Well, we're trying to basically, I do marketing at DFW, and then I think I mentioned to you before our call, we brought on a business development
Oh
person to kind of
yeah.
scale nationally as possible. So we were doing kind of, it's so hard to kind of, there's so much, potentially so much opportunity. How do we kind of focus our efforts and,
Hmm.
where
Yeah.
can we help the companies the quickest is what we're trying
Yeah.
to figure out.
Oh, for sure. Right. It's like, how can we get in, and you're a startup, so you got to be economical about how you do your marketing dollars. And so,
Right.
what's the best way to reach? What's the best reach method? And I totally get it. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. No, that's awesome. Well, you'll be national soon. You'll be all over the place. And we're going to see George's, ads on everything at all the real estate conferences. And, you're just going to be like, think of us little people after your famous,
Uh,
you know.
what you're doing with the U.S. Proptech Council, we are all going to be trying to figure out how to connect with you because
I
what
know.
you're
It's
doing.
funny. Yeah, well, I'm excited about it. I'm excited about the
That's the thing.
council. It's super cool to see. It's like I just no joke, and I think I told you this because remember I did the council after I started my quest to meet everybody in my network. So you were one of you and Stash and a bunch of different people were the ones I first met with. And then I was like, we really should just have this council again. So I started it kind of after that, after those initial networking meetings that I had with people. And I was like, yeah, okay, all right, we'll figure it out. But it did just blow up in my face. And obviously was very needed. And so having the council is super cool. And just to see how it's growing and taking shape. And we're doing all these conferences now and all
Yes.
these events and all this stuff. And I'm connecting people who are doing business and connecting people to capital, and it's super, super cool. It's awesome. So yeah, no, it's really good.
Oh, we can, as a founder, I mean, I can't thank you enough to kind of get, be lucky enough to be involved and connected with it because I think it's only going to grow. And I mean, you've got such a great foundation and great people on the board of directors
Oh
and,
yeah.
on the Zoom calls and stuff like that. I mean, I can only see it getting really exploding. Even
Oh
like you
yeah.
guys do.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, I was like, when I already have one startup and now I got another one. Okay.
I think,
But I think it's really truly just because I'm pushing so hard so that we can get it kind of set up. So when my startup gets past, the second round of beta and we're actually blowing and going and launching, I'm not gonna have time to do both full time. But yeah, but I know it's super cool to see where it goes for sure. And I love how everybody's kind of embracing it. I was expecting a little more pushback,
hmm.
but Michael Beckerman at Cretech and Jay over at Blueprint and all the other prop tech associations around the world have just fully embraced us, and it's really super cool to see that that's kind of where we're at. So it's awesome for
No,
sure.
I mean, you're kind of unique because you're kind of focused on kind of the founders, or is it kind of, do they kind of do the same thing? Or I think, I mean, don't
So
know.
the Cretech and Blueprint were just conferences, right?
Right,
So
right.
we're the in between the conferences.
Yes,
So we can bring more people to them, but they already had a lot of people because they were hosting those conferences for years. Like I think Cretech's been happening since 2016.
okay.
So yeah, I mean yeah, but they were excited that we had this group and they were forming it and helping everybody. So yeah, no, it's great. It's great. I haven't I think the reception's been really good. And so hopefully we'll just kind of keep rolling from there.
Oh, I'm
So
sure it will, and it'll
yeah.
only get better.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, it's awesome. So so are you gonna start doing the dog and pony show? Are you gonna go to the conferences and do all that stuff? Are you gonna do that?
Ha! I know you're at quite a few. I think from our call earlier today, you are hitting quite a few.
Yeah.
I am not sure if we are going to be doing the conferences. Maybe we'll be kind of grassroots marketing initially, and then see where it goes.
Okay. Well, all right. I got two you have to go to, so you have no choice. So there you go.
Which two would that
Uh,
be, or are you allowed to say?
for you, no, you need to go to the IMN CFO COO conference. If you don't go to that one, I'm going to shoot you in the face because no, I really like you, George. But if you want customers or, send your biz dev guy, but you need to go. I mean, that for you and trying to reach asset managers and CFOs and all those people, that's the one, right? Now it's fund heavy sometimes, but that's okay. There's other people there too. But even on the fund side, they need this stuff too, right? I mean, you're talking to Armanino the other day, right? So
Yes.
they're a fund administrator. So yeah, that IMN CFO COO conference that's your jam, man. That's where you're gonna find your customers. Just telling you.
No, I appreciate that.
You're welcome. And
We,
the private equity one, it's like they're not in bad places. Like that, the private equity one is in Laguna Beach. Like,
oh,
oh, shock
well,
me. Like, oh, darn, twist my arm. I have to go
I
to
might be able to make that one.
yeah, it's in
That sounds,
January
yeah.
at the Montage. Like seriously, you have to go. And there's 700 people, about 1,000 people, and and it's so funny. They've just had so many people in that at that conference, and there's so much money in the room that you would provide a lot of value just by going. That one and the CFO CO. The CFO usually one is in New York, so not bad places to go
Mhm.
for sure. Yeah, it's fun. But yeah, that would be the two that you should go to, I think. See, I'm sitting here and I'm just doing I'm supposed to be interviewing you and I'm telling you what to do. I'm really
No,
bossy. I'm really bossy that way. I'm sorry. I'm really bossy that way. I might be a CEO or something. I'm really kind of
exactly.
bossy. I might be.
If you got that CEO material, that's how you roll, right? I
Yes,
mean, you
my
gotta get it.
occupational hazard. I tell people what to do. I'm
Right.
sorry. I can't stop myself. I'm a CEO, man. Very cool. Well, this has been a cool conversation. What else do you want to tell us? What else are you doing? What else are you doing as far as, RE analytics? What are you going to do next, do you think?
Well, again, it's probably strategic partnership. So basically, if there's any listeners or kind of other people in the Proptech Council that are kind of doing complementary services and stuff like that, would absolutely love to connect with them. And I mean, you're bringing in so many heavy hitters and on the board of directors and members of
Yeah.
the Proptech Council that I'm sure it's
Yeah.
just a matter of time because I think it's going to explode. And there's going to be opportunity, I think, for everybody.
Oh, for sure. There's going to be a ton. There's going to be a ton. PropTech is going to save the real estate industry. It just is.
We're going to try.
Yeah, no, it for sure is. It's going to do that, and everybody they'll all need to kiss the ring later after we save them because it's
Well,
going to happen.
hopefully, we can save them in time. That's the thing.
Exactly.
We got to save them in time.
I
So
know.
it would be
I
great
know.
to call a timeout, get everybody's solutions implemented, and then have the world go. But I think
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
going to be tough.
It's going to be a hard road ahead, but yeah, but the ones that adopt technology are going to win. And like at the end of the day, the ones that figure it out from a tech stack perspective and get really, really good at optimizing their operations by using tech are the ones that are going to win. And that's it. And the other ones, some will struggle and then they'll figure it out and they'll adopt, and there'll be some people that'll be just obstinate. Oh, I know, I can use paper. It's fine. Those people will lose, and that's okay. Somebody else will come by their properties and, and adopt tech.
I think that's the way it's going to play out, and I think it's. I mean, this isn't 2005 or 2015. It's just kind of with all the technology. I can't imagine companies bringing on talent and retaining talent with the tools they have in place. If they're say a Gen Y or Gen Z or and their friends that
Oh,
are
yeah.
working at tech companies or doing all this crazy stuff and at real estate companies, they are so maybe potentially behind the times that how they would be able to retain talent.
Well, it's the same experience you went through in '94, right? You're like,
It was.
are you people? Like, who are you? Like,
It's
seriously. Like,
right.
yeah, I know. Yeah, for sure. And yeah. And as we see, and it'll just tech will enable a lot of different things as far as, Gen Z or millennials, they want the hybrid workforce work-life balance thing, and tech
Right.
will enable that stuff. And so, yeah, if you're gonna hire good people, they're gonna force you to adopt technology for sure.
I think it's inevitable.
Yeah, no, no, no. It'll be truly interesting. Well, look at this. It's been an hour and we made it. We made it through. It's been pretty cool. Or almost an hour anyway. But all right. So if somebody, I'm gonna pretend to be a podcast host now. And if somebody would like to get a hold of you, how could they do that, sir?
I would say LinkedIn is probably the best. So it's George Burchlaw, and the company's name is RE Analytics. You can find me on LinkedIn, and feel free to connect or send a digital message. And happy to chat with you and learn about what you do and potential collaborations.
Awesome. Very, very cool. Well, my ending message would be join the US PropTech Council.
Yes.
And we are at proptechcouncil.com. And we have events all the freaking time. Just our event calendar is up to date on the website. And we also have our LinkedIn community too. But coming to a town near you, because conference season is upon us and we will be there soon, you know, bribing you with food and drinks. That's basically my MO. So very cool. All right. Well, we'll see you soon. And at
All
the end
right.
of the month in Dallas, I'll see you in person
Thanks
finally.
again for having me on, Amy.
Sure.